Today, guys, I think it's time for an update on the 310 mega matrix here. Welcome to another video here with Queen City Reefs and more. I really appreciate you tuning in. Please consider subscribing, consider hitting that like button, consider commenting, consider sharing this video. And without further ado, let's get started. I got something to confess. It's been hard for me to keep up with where I'm at on the updates, right? So I might say things on these videos that you are most likely already caught up on. But I guess it serves two purposes here for those that just are tuning in and this is their first time watching my channel, and as a reminder of where I'm at. Alright, so this video here is going to be without any filters. I have yet to get some filters for this camera. The update here really is, you know, if you remember from a few weeks or months back, the latest update on that really is that a lot of my fish did die. Since then, and if you've caught up with all my videos that I've had, I've actually added a lot of SPS, and I want to say there's over 60 frags in here that are pretty large now. Since I've added them, I've had actually a lot of growth that I'm very happy with. One reason why I thought it was time to make this update, and not that I wouldn't have anyways, but there was a comment before, which I honestly, I don't mind the comments, positive or negative, as long as we're being respectful, right? Where I was sharing my thoughts around chasing numbers, and somebody disliked the video and said that which I appreciated this part, they actually commented to let me know why I got the thumbs down. And the thumbs down was because the proof is in the pudding, right? Show the tank to show my success so far before I start giving advice on my thoughts, right? And you know what, by all means, I actually agree with that comment, and I figured that it was time that I showed my success. And so today we're actually going to do a water change. I don't know if I'm gonna actually film that on camera. Don't think anybody really cares. I will talk about how I'm gonna do my water change, but before I did that, I did want to show what the corals look like. To be honest, I don't do water changes as often as I should. You're probably gonna say, oh well, that's why your sand bed is the way that it is, and I actually have a different explanation to that. My water changes are every 4 to 8 weeks. Normally I determine if it's time for a water change when my glass starts getting dirty. We're gonna go ahead and pan through here, and I'm going to talk about what we see on camera. All right, so we'll start with this rock. I have quite a few corals on this rock. A lot of them don't have a name, or if they do, I don't know it. And those that I do know, I have to look and see what the name is. But I didn't want to really make this video to show you the name brand corals that I have. I wanted to show you what I consider in a way the success rate that I'm having with some of these, right? For example, that coral there used to be a smaller piece, and as you can see, if we focus in on it, that's as close as I can get with this lens. As you can see, it has a lot of little branches coming out of it, and that actually makes me really happy because it tells me that it's doing something. Then the one right behind it that looks on camera looks a little greenish. It actually is green polyps with a pink base. It hasn't done a lot, to be honest. It's changed colors, the polyps are extended, but it hasn't really grown aside from the base. It used to be where it's only the plug that used to have, like the top side of the plug that was showing that it was encrusting, but now the encrusted part has gone to the side of the plug, and so that's the only place where I've seen noticeable growth. Then we have right in the middle where I'm focused on is what we call a Walt Disney frag. Now you're gonna see something. If you have followed me, you'll notice that on my other videos I mentioned how I had different frags from different sources of the same Walt Disney, and you'll notice how this is my slowest grower out of all the Walt Disneys. Then I have a second place, and then I have a first place of, you know, the ones that have actually grown and shown a lot of growth, right? Then here to the side, right in the middle. That is supposed to be a home wrecker right there. It's encrusted a little bit to the rock. Why I put it there, I don't know. I was just trying to keep a distance from others, at the same time, you know, trying to see the way that it would grow. The one that you've seen in previous videos, right there in the middle, has had growth. If you pay attention, these nubs right there and that nub right there, that's new growth. Now, I haven't seen it really get any larger from any other area other than those two new branches coming out. So I'm happy about that. I've been keeping my alkalinity, my calcium and magnesium very stable. There at the bottom, you'll notice a green bird's nest that I have. That little guy I got when he was the size of right about that coral right here. I don't even know where I'm pointing. Right about that coral right there. He was the size of that little frag, and I would say that that's probably the fastest growing one, but I think it is for everyone, right? That thing is huge. So this is the next rock where I have a bunch of frags as well. You'll see the green slimer here in this corner. You'll see a digitata right on that area. Yes, I know. I don't know what I was thinking when I placed them here. This green slimer used to actually be just a straight stick, just pointing up. And as you can see now, it's starting to develop branches across. And I'm gonna have to do something about the way that it's there because it will end up touching something else. I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. But we live and we learn, right? Now, one coral that I am very proud of is that coral right there in the middle. On the camera, it doesn't seem like much, but you should see it under blues. And it literally has a lot of color. It has those red polyps with the blue tips. It has some green at the base of it. I've actually seen some pinks and reds when you put on the orange glasses, to be honest. But if you pay close attention when it's, you know, completely blue, it's a really pretty coral. Now, I really like it, but where I messed up, and I think where something to learn from here is you have to know what coral you're getting and the growth pattern on it, because I guess that, you know, that's something on my mind that I can speak of on my next, on one of my what's on my mind at this moment, right? But one of the cons of purchasing a unknown coral is not knowing what the growth pattern is. And I did not know what the growth pattern would be for that, but it looks like it's turning into what you call a tabling acro, which ends up growing out and then looking like one of these rocks here, where the whole rock would be like a big coral looking like a, you know, like a table, right? And eventually it will end up getting over all of these corals that are surrounding it. So I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with that. So this coral right here is a coral that I dropped inside the toilet. Please don't ask me how that happened. I'd rather not even share the story. But to be honest, the only reason I'm mentioning it is because this is proof of how resilient some corals can be. This coral used to be about maybe a third of that size, and now look at it. I think it's another one that's gonna end up expanding out to look like a tabling SPS. Then we have that on the side. I promise you guys, I know the names. When it comes time to show off the colors and all that, I will make a video and tell you the names of the ones that I do know. Then we have that one on the side. And that is really it. Yes, I have an aptasia problem dealing with it. I'm not gonna panic, but let's move on. All right, so on this arc, which is a 2-foot arc, we have that red digitata again. So that's why I'm thinking of maybe taking that one off and possibly posting like a little frag pack. You know what? While we're on that subject, I'm thinking of these big ones. I've heard of you being able to actually do some cuts on some coral to kind of get them to stimulate the growth on them. And so I'm thinking on these larger pieces, like this one over here, like this PC rainbow right here, and the ones that I've shown you just previous to that. I'm thinking of making some cuts, and I'm thinking of putting some frag packs together Here we have a PC rainbow at the top, a red planet right there. We have, that was supposed to be pink lemonade, but it died. Then at the top corner supposed to be an orange passion right over there. All right, so we're now on my 3-foot arc, and here you will see the pieces that I have. Again, all of these were from anywhere between 1 to possibly 2 inches. Depends if I got them from a local reefer, they would be generous with their pieces. Like that right there is a Cali tort, and it was possibly around that big when I got it, and then it's grown that much more. Well, here's the second place Walt Disney, and it has grown up and it has encrusted a lot, and you can see a nub coming out here and there, but it's done a lot more than that little nub that I showed you a minute ago. But the one that I am very, 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 very happy with is that guy right there. That guy right there was sold to me at half that size, and it's, I would say possibly even less, maybe a third of that size, and it's grown 3 times the size from what I've had it, from when I first got it, and it's actually encrusted onto the rock and everything. Under blues, man, do those colors pop. This is all during white lights, which I actually like too, because you get to see true colors of a lot of these corals. That right there is another PC rainbow. So I would possibly cut from that one or from that one. I would cut from the Cali tort, from this guy right here. That's a no-name. Possibly from that guy too, which is another no-name. This one too was a little nub, and look at all those branches. Oh, and I would do, of course, the Green's bird's nest. That is the update here. I mean, I don't have much to say. I wanted just to document what the tank looks like as of today. I will make sure to make another video that talks about the equipment that I use, the lighting, the schedule, and all that other good stuff that we all like to hear. As of right now, this is my tank. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention these Zoas. Every time I say Zoa, I think about those Zoa tank boys. Here's the green hairy mushrooms. I have some other mushrooms right here, but they're not doing so well. There was a point in time before these fish came that I felt like I had very low nutrients, and my corals, even now, they don't look the color that I see other people have, and I'm pretty sure that's because of low nutrients, like literally 0 nitrates and like 0.03, 0.04 phosphates. Even though the coral was growing, the color wasn't all there. The color's better, but I'd say that here's what I did. I started dosing nitrates and phosphates from a bright well, and I started seeing like really a significant change with these corals. You know, those that were really pelled out, within a few days you started seeing color on them, and I'm like, wow, like this makes a difference. But the downside for me, at least, was that I started seeing a lot of this algae on the floor, and I don't like that. I don't know which one I'd rather do. If I'd rather do more constant water changes or constant vacuuming of the sand and have the colors, or just let everything be as natural as possible and not have to deal with this, right? So I'm in between that. But for now, I put fish in. I'm hoping that the fish can raise up the nitrates and phosphates naturally. As you can see, these fish are the ones that I have left from the catastrophe that we had. So far, so good. They did go through copper treatment for 45 days. Since then, I mean, no one is showing a sign of anything. Knock on wood, please. I am being as careful as I can to make sure I don't cross-contaminate for those fish that are currently in quarantine. If I know that I'm gonna mess around with that tank over there, I make sure that I do everything I need to do here with this one first. If I do for whatever reason mess with those, I will make sure that I do not mess with this tank at all for that day. I used to do like, you know, hot water hand washes, but now like I'd rather not. I'd rather, you know, while I'm in the shower, in a hot shower, and soap up and everything, and then worry about messing with this tank in another day or two after I've messed with the quarantine tanks. That being said, guys, that is an update on my tank. That is an update on the corals that are in here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing, for those that are subscribed. For those that are not, again, please consider subscribing. And I will catch you guys on the next one.